love him. JD Colarusso, incredible. Of course, McClancy's good, not as good as the others. Connor Fields. I mean, what more can you say about Connor Fields? He's
an animal.
He's an animal. And then this kid, Tehoka Nanticoke, who just looks like he's standing there the whole time and he's damn behind the back goals like it's nothing. Well, it's nothing.
What I find interesting is the fact that he's such a physical person. It reminds me a little bit of Rambo.
He just stands there.
You can't move him.
No!
There's nothing that you can do.
No.
Even the defenseman is trying with all their might to move him, and he's just no,
that's
not going to work.
Oh, and he put an absolute hit on one kid on the sideline.
Yeah.
It was incredible. I've never seen someone fly up in the air as high as I'd seen him. It was nasty.
Poor kid from Drexel.
It was nasty. But
the kid from Drexel takes off his helmet. He's like, I don't even want to do this anymore.
Shouldn't these kids from Drexel be tougher? They're in Philly. We're in Albany.
Yeah.
Come on. Come on.
Yeah, they're the kids that got passed over by Penn.
Penn State. Penn State's making a rise. And
yeah. The Big Ten is slowly they're like, hey, we can get behind this.
Yeah.
It was like, this is right up our alley.
Yeah.
Something that they start off in the winter seasons, yeah, we're good there.
Just don't tell Rutgers.
Yeah, don't let them know.
No. We're good with Ohio State. We're good with Maryland. We're good with Penn State. And you know what? Johns Hopkins in the Big Ten too. But whatever you do, just don't tell Rutgers.
Yeah. Nobody let Rutgers know. Nobody let Rutgers know. Michigan, maybe. Don't invite Michigan State. They'll probably get us a violation.
Yeah. Yeah. Speaking of violations, let's move on for a minute. Unless you have more to say about Albany.
No, I'm looking forward to seeing how the season progresses. So let's take it 1 week at a time with these guys.
What's more corrupt, the politicians of Albany or the NCAA? Because they look about equal right now.
Yeah, that's pretty tough.
That's a pretty good comparison, though. I've never really thought of it all like that. I love the NCAA's refusal to really address this. They're like, let's wait. Let's try and get the tournament off first and have that go off, and then we'll address the issue. They're going out of the way to be like, if we don't think about it or talk about it, it didn't happen yet. No, it did. It did. We're all talking about it.
The NCAA is having really bad problems right now because they've got...
For a while.
Well, I mean, it's all coming to a head right now.
Well, yes.
They have a sex scandal at Michigan and Baylor. They have...
Having a ring pop.
Oh, ring pop getting the best of you?
Uh-huh.
All right. We're all good. You got the sex scandals going on at Baylor and Michigan State. All right.
Baylor's one been going on for almost 3 years, and it's still not over.
Yep. They've got Louisville with prostitutes for their players. And I think we talked about this on an earlier episode when we were talking about Hugh Freeze and how do we know that he wasn't calling those prostitutes to offer them to the players as an incentive to come to the school. We're like what are those things called where you have the visions?
Prophets.
Medium?
No, not a medium. Not quite a prophet.
Psychic?
We're having premonitions, I guess. Because we did talk about Hugh Freeze offering prostitutes to his players, and now Rick Pitino's doing it.
Oh, yeah. And then on the other side of it, you've got the NCAA, or you got the FBI investigation, whether or not players are being paid through companies.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they're trying... The NCAA couldn't be failing any more than it possibly is right now.
Yes, they could. They could go back to the BCS.
Well, true. But
someone basically compared them to a cartel, and I can't say that that's inaccurate.
No, the other thing that bothers me about the NCAA is the NCAA cannot be this naive to constantly have these problems and only seem to be shocked when they happen. It's like if you guys were really looking into this stuff and investigating the way you should have been from the get-go, you probably could have caught some of this stuff earlier. But how many times does this need to happen before you start being proactive rather than reactive?
It's like if your check engine light is on for 2 years, I didn't see it not starting.
Yeah, and then you wonder why your engine kicks out.
Right.
I think it's purposeful ignorance on their part. They don't want to know about these things, and then once it gets caught, they try and sweep it under the rug as much as possible. They don't want to be.
It's viewing it as rose-colored glasses. It's working for me right now, so don't even worry about it.
I wouldn't even say it's that. It's more like BP on South Park. Sorry, we're sorry.
Oh yeah,
Sorry.
That's a good comparison. I mean, it's pretty accurate too. I mean, the NCAA. I don't know.
And yet you can be a student at University of North Carolina, have not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 study halls on your schedule, and get credit for it when study hall is not a class.
Well,
whatever.
I mean,
whatever.
The NCAA clearly is a facade of what it's meant to do. It's like looking at a car and you're like, wow, that's a nice car, and then you get inside of it and you realize it doesn't run. It's like, oh, it looks nice from the outside, but when you get in, it's a pile of crap.
Or like buying a car and not having a license, so you legally can't drive it.
Yeah, like it means well. It just doesn't do anything.
Now, I have an idea.
It's registered, you can't drive it.
Yeah, it's registered, can't drive it. I have an idea. If the NCAA wants to, continue with the amateurism of the sports, and they don't want to pay players even though they have a metric ass load of money, why don't they, I don't know, come up with a way where the students can get paid without them having to be the ones to pay them? Like, oh, you can receive up to $25,000 a year in endorsements. All
See,
right.
I could be with that. However, there would have to be stipulations. I actually had this conversation with Chuckles about how you go through...
Speaking of Chuckles, where the hell is he?
He's having car issues, funny enough. Ironically. But we were having this conversation, and I don't disagree with that, to be honest with you, because but I think the endorsements can't conflict with the school. So, for instance, if your school is sponsored by Adidas, you can't go out and get an endorsement by Nike. If you want to get endorsements for other companies, like you want to endorse for Sprite, if you're good enough to be that endorsement, you should be able to do that. You should be able to have that. Or if you really want to do this where Adidas is funneling the money to these kids, if you want to make it a part of the stipulation that the money Adidas gives as far as the product and everything to use it, and the money that Adidas gives to the school, an X amount, I'm not saying a lot, but $500, $1,000 of that Adidas money goes to each individual player on that team who's wearing that, just so they have some kind of spending money to do things that normal college kids with a part-time job would be able to do.
Or how about this?
Yeah, I mean, basically, they don't have time for anything else.
No, this is a part-time job, and I get that you're getting you're getting your scholarship, but at a certain point, like, we have to be able to be willing to allow these kids to make some kind of money, even if it's a different rate depending on the school you go to.
Or, a large chunk of the money has to go to the school or different programs or charity or something. But I agree. Give them something that they can.
I have an idea.
Take home.
I don't think people are going to like this as much.
Oh,
but
boy, I'm probably not gonna.
Nope. So instead of the way they do it now, mandatory redshirt freshmen spread their courses among the 5 years, give them time to actually have a job because their course load is light.
I mean,
then guarantee them a job like on campus. Like, okay, football players, you are going to be the ushers and stuff like that at the women's basketball game and the men's basketball games. All right, basketball players, you're going to do the same thing for football. Guarantee them jobs on campus. Spread their course load out over 5 years instead of 4. Lighten their load. Give them time to be able to work a part-time job. And like I said, if you want to make the stipulation that it has to be on your campus, then so be it. Let them pick up 5 hours a week or something like that in the bookstore to give them like $100 or whatever it is. It's $20, not $100. Yeah, that's quite steep for a bookstore, but you know what I mean? Like,
I mean, something has to give. The NCAA can't be as naive to think that it can continue going on this way, because obviously what you're doing right now has proven time and time again that it's not working.
Right.
How many times do you need to get punched in the mouth before you stop talking?
Well, are they still getting the money?
Well, I understand that, but it's a constant, repetitive black eye. I get to them; they don't give a crap. They're still making money.
It's like the Knicks. The Knicks don't want to change anything big because they're still the most profitable team in the NBA.
Yeah.
What do they? They don't have to. They don't have to do anything big. They don't have to make that splash move.
By the way, I left the Knicks. I don't even know what we're talking about with the Knicks. I left. I went back to my childhood days, and I went back to my old team. You guys are crap. Left. I went back.
Forget the Knicks. I'm all Oakley. Team Oakley.
No, I just left. I was like, you know what? I'm going to go back and root for the team I rooted for when I was in middle school.
What team is that?
Philadelphia.
Why?
At least they're turning things around.
No, they're not.
You bandwagoner.
Absolutely not.
They were worse than the Knicks for the past.
First of all,
4 years.
when I started watching basketball, the reason I chose the Sixers
Allen Iverson
was because my favorite player was Allen Iverson.
I think I became a Knicks fan after when I was little. I liked the Charlotte Hornets. I don't know why. After they left
That's
Charlotte,
strange. I can't even think of a reason why you.
I think because I one time called them the Hornies, and I was young. I thought it was funny.
Okay.
But then after they left Charlotte, I'm like, that's not that good. I do like blue and orange though, so I think I'm gonna be a Knicks fan. That's how I became a Knicks fan. Orange and blue. Yeah.
Good thing OKC wasn't around at the time. You'd have been so torn.
Oh God. I liked the Mavericks for a few minutes because I'm like, oh, they're a Dallas team. Let me root for them. I'm like, I don't like them though. That was like maybe a third of a season.
I always like Philadelphia because they always seem to have hope, but they never seem to win.
Listen, they're still trusting the process after 40 years.
Yeah.
They've been trusting this process since Allen Iverson left.
I was following them when they got Jahlil Okafor, and then I was like, wow, this is like you just buy the misfit toys. You're going to the island every single time. You get broken things.
Yeah.
I knew Okafor was not going to pan out.
No. But I did have hope in Embiid, and he's actually, I'm impressed that he's as good as he is.
Yeah, he's a monster.
Yeah.
He's not going to be in Philadelphia too long.
No, probably not.
No, he's heading out west. Guarantee it. Anyone who's really good at basketball wants to play out west. Either with
I'm sorry, hang on. You made a good. You just brought that up in the out west, and that's because that's where the good basketball is. But the NBA thinking of switching to the top 16 teams. The East isn't going to get any teams in. They're going to get one, maybe two. They're not going to have any teams.
LeBron's like, no, we're not having that. We're not having that.
Just move all the teams to the West then.
That's not going to solve the problem. Okay, that's just going to do what what were they called? Sneetches. Did you guys ever read that?
No.
It was a Dr. Seuss book. Basically, there were these
birds or something.
I don't remember what they were exactly, but they were the Sneetches. Some of them had stars on their bellies, some of them didn't. And the ones
You
with
sure this isn't the Care Bears you're thinking?
yeah,
Still racist.
the ones with the stars were picked on because they had stars until it became cool. Then all the ones without the stars wanted to get the stars, and so then the ones with the stars decided they didn't want the stars. So
it was like an allegory for racism.
Essentially.
Yeah.
Essentially, yeah.
It sounds pretty Nazi-ish.
Yeah, it kind of
Wearing the
was.
stars.
So what's going to happen is
Then it became cool.
if all the East teams go out to the West, all the teams in the West are going to come to the East. And then the East is going to be good again.
Yeah, well,
Maybe. I mean, don't you want to go where it's easier to get to the championship?
if you're LeBron James, yeah.
Where is it ever going to be easy to get to the championship unless you're the Golden State Warriors?
The East.
The East. You'll get to the championship.
LeBron
you might
James.
not win it.
Dude, they go on streaks of losing. LeBron's like, it's good, we play in the East.
He's right,
Doesn't
they
matter.
do.
We're still going to make the playoffs. We'll still get to the finals.
Mm-hmm.
There's nobody that's going to stop us. We could lose the entire month of February for all I care.
I don't know. I don't know if the Cavaliers have it in them.
No, LeBron James is going to force them by sheer force of will, and he'll probably beat people in the locker room.
Yeah.
Beat people in the locker room. Not with his buddy Chris Paul.
Again, he's gonna take some tips from Adrian Peterson.
From Adrian.
Speaking of the Knicks,
Switches.
I know we wanted to talk about them briefly. Young point